I just like to say big congrats to Tanya. Her success being the all-time winningest coach in the Valley, the longevity that people can have and be successful for year in, year out. And really, really happy for Tanya. And, our history goes back. I remember I went to Creighton basketball camps and she was starring, and great player, obviously, from Des Moines, Lincoln. Her and Connie Yori, Ankeny, they're kind of iconic in the state, iconic at Creighton. And so it's just really, really cool to see an Iowa girl etch herself in the record books, and I just want to publicly congrats to Tanya.
Kyle, go ahead.
Slow start to the game there. You and I, it seemed like every single possession was going down to 5-10 seconds on the shot clock, and that kind of slowed the game down early. Just what was it like for the team trying to traverse that early?
I think that was, I have to talk to Tanya and Brad, but I think that's what they were probably trying to do, is get it to 10-second offensive opportunity to kind of slow down our break, because that's what we'd like to have done. And so the positive for us is that's the first time we've seen that, and we obviously didn't handle it right. It may not be the first time that we see that. So I think we were a little flat to come out. I think that might have stymied us. And I was a little, as a coach, you're always a little concerned about that first road trip. We do have 9 new people, and you're trying to explain what the road's going to feel like, trying to tell them what's your routine going to be. And I just felt like we just looked a little sluggish. Credit to you and I at the beginning. But I feel like, our offense just wasn't there, but our defense certainly held. And the first half was 15, was it? I don't know, something. But I just think that I'm thankful when our offense was a little sluggish that we did have our defense going. But I think it'll be a good learning for us, because obviously now we go on the road for 2 really tough road games. Thankful it's at a neutral site.
Jeff?
The narrative when Chit Chat came here was pass first. I think here that was said more than once, and she's kind of debunking that narrative now, being aggressive offensively, looking for a shot.
Yeah.
How much of a bonus is that?
It's huge, because when I watched her tape during that portal recruiting process, her quick release and the little ones, right? They have to counter, and if you can tell their consistency and her IQ. And she played on a team. Kara Dunn was her teammate. She's now at USC. They had some pretty good players, and Georgia Tech really had a great climb underneath the great Nell Fortner, and she just got out because of the shenanigans of the rev share, right? Those Hall of Fame coaches that just get to the point of like, so that's why we benefited. But I think what you saw today is Chit Chat. That was a big step. That was my brightest spot, is because everything else was tough sledding. So Chit Chat was like, said, okay, all right, I got it. I feel like, she probably could have had another 10, easy. But she was trying to do the system, but then just kind of knew we were a little sluggish. So I thought that was a great big growth step. I thought the other positive is, you can have a flat performance, but still win soundly, right? And so I think that's great. I did wish we weren't so flat. I wish it would have been a little prettier to watch. But if you look back at my opening press conference that I was talking to myself, I think patience is going to rule the day. We see some growth, and then we kind of stymie. I think also what you saw today was, we have depth, but you're trying to get everybody experience and trying to plug in and give them minutes with no pressure. And sometimes you're going, but you need the pressure. So I think it's just a continuing growing step, but certainly pleased with our defense.
Dargan?
It was the bench, I think, had 11 of the final 13 points in the first quarter. It was really a big group that got you out of that run. Just how much is everybody buying into the depth and, the ability to kind of have different matchups and different people come in at different times?
Well, I think for the most part they are. I do. I think that'll be a big ticket of who we want to be, right? Because it's a little bit different, right? You're able to, if it's not your day, right? If you're pick up a couple quick fouls, is the energy of which you transfer that baton, right? And I do think that this team is really good at that. I think this team is human. You're frustrated, you pick up a couple fouls. You're frustrated, you miss 2 or 3 bunnies, and then you're kind of got a comfortable lead. So the feelings don't always, it's just not always as lighthearted as you want it, right? Because if you have a tough day, you're smiling, but deep down you just want to redo, right? But I do think this team is buying into that. And I think any team, as they're forming, the ticket of that, whether you're got a top 6 or 7 or you got a top 10, is that role acceptance and then thriving in those roles. And I love what I've been seeing. But certainly the season is young, but I know these kids love each other a whole lot.
Angie and then Zach.
Yeah, you talked about Tanya and her longevity and breaking the record. So between Tanya and you and Lisa and Bill and Allison, you're all native Iowans.
Yeah,
You've
pretty cool.
all been in your jobs for a long time.
Uh-huh.
What does that say about Iowa, or women's basketball in Iowa?
Well, I just think we have a lot of great universities, right? I mean, even the smaller colleges, quite frankly, that have some good players that go to the state tournament. They just aren't playing at a Power 4, or a smaller college like UNI and Drake, but they're really good. And I think what you're seeing, like Drake and UNI are definitely rebuilding. I mean, you can't take a Maya McDermott and a Dennebeer out of the lineup and not have to develop for a little bit. But their actions, I mean, UNI is probably, they're gonna look at the film and say, man, if we made some of those, that margin of victory wasn't quite as great, right? But I just think this state supports women's basketball so well. We have really good high school coaches. I just feel so blessed to be coaching at Iowa because of the fan support and interest, right? So I think that says why everybody's at their jobs is we love where we are and we want to continue being where we are.
Last one, Zach.
Jan, going back to Chit Chat, she was in here talking about what a gym rat she is and how she really looks forward to engaging with the process to get better. From a coaching standpoint, what does that mean to you?
Yeah, I mean, I think when you have a kid that's coming from the outside and she's just always in the gym, she's just showing how it's done, right? It's pretty interesting. I'm pretty sure most programs across the country, your youth doesn't know what it doesn't know until they get here, right? And so I always encourage our upperclassmen, like who you're bringing to the gym with you, right? I did that way back with Caitlin Clark. It's like they get all those shots up, but you can't go alone. And I think, Chit Chat is that gym rat. So the next evolution is to make sure all the rest of them are going too, because you think about it, most high school programs don't practice 3 hours a day, maybe 2.5, some do, but you're practicing 3 hours and then they're studying, and you're also asking them to, put in the overtime, because if you really want to get there, right, it probably takes more than 9 to 5, and it's really great when you have a kid like Chit Chat who's selfless, pass first, and is in the gym, and I watch her and I'm like, we got to get this kid shooting the ball, because you saw the consistency of it. And so I think if we can continue to use her mindset, get her louder, and get the confidence a little built up, the consistency of the other new people. I've always said it might be like this a little bit with this team, but if we can get there with passing that baton and keeping our confidence and our kind of our aggressiveness, I think this team has the potential to have some fun.